Call the meeting to order. And first of all is the adoption of the agenda. And it's moved by Councillor Byrd and seconded by Councillor Bolt. So could you read that, please, Councillor Byrd?
Yes, you be it resolved that the Council of the Town of Perth adopt the agenda of the 20th of January 2025 Council meeting as presented.
Okay, I'm assuming there's no errors or omissions, so we approve that, please?
Yep.
Okay. And I'll read the land acknowledgement. We respectfully acknowledge that the land on which we gather is the traditional home of various Indigenous peoples. As we work towards reconciliation, may we all live with respect on this land and live in peace and friendship with all its diverse peoples. Does anyone have a pecuniary interest they wish to discuss? Councillor Waterfield.
Madam Mayor, I would like to declare a conflict of interest item 10.2, Stewart Park Festival, because I'm on the organizing committee of that organization.
Okay, if you'll submit the form and give it to the clerk afterwards, and Councillor Byrd.
Yes, Your Worship. In agenda item 1, item number 10.1, regarding the Perth Theatre project strategic plan, I have a conflict of interest. I'm a board member.
Thank you. All righty. We have no delegate. Oh, I'm sorry.
Thank you, Madam Chair. I just, at the last meeting, I did declare a conflict of interest for the item in regards to the Stewart Park Festival, but after careful consideration, I don't believe that is a conflict of interest. I don't see any perception where I would gain anything in any respect to it. So I'm not declaring a conflict in regards to that. Thank you.
The basic criteria is consider whether you have a financial interest. Okay.
Excuse me, Madam Mayor. I did run that by our clerk, and I was in the discussions that we had. It was decided that it wasn't a conflict of interest.
Yes, yes. She's the expert. Okay, so we need to adopt the minutes of the December 10th meeting. Councillor Waterfield.
Be it resolved that the Council of the Town of Perth adopt the minutes of the December 10th, 2024 regular council meeting.
Thank you. No errors or omissions. Those in favor? Thank you. Okay, no delegations, no presentations. We have the consent agenda. And there's no items removed from the consent agenda, so we'll go on to motions. This is in regard. Oh, I'm sorry.
Madam Mayor, just a point of clarification, the motion that I declared a conflict of interest is in the consent agenda, so therefore do I not vote for the consent agenda? I just want to get a clarification.
Okay. So through the chair, I believe those two items were removed and put into motions.
Okay.
So they're not included in the consent agenda.
Okay, thank you.
Okay. So the next one is under motions. Oh, I'm sorry. Yeah, okay. So could we have a mover?
So I'll move that.
And a seconder? Okay, thank you. Those in favor? Okay. So the next under motions is, you'll remember the presentation from the Perth Theatre project, presenting their strategic plan. So Councilor McCray, would you read that, please?
Be it resolved that the Council of the Town of Perth receive for information the delegation from Robert Fiduke, President, and Deborah Watering Ellis, Chair of the Business Community and Project Lead Perth Theatre Project, as presented at the Committee of the Whole meeting, January the 14th, 2025.
Thank you. Any discussion? Those in favor? Those eligible? The 10.2, a grant application. Experience Ontario 2025 program. Stewart Park Festival, Councillor Bolt.
So moved by myself and seconded by Councillor Dave Bird. Be it resolved, the Council of the Town of Perth authorize the Director of Community Services to submit a grant application to the Experience Ontario 2025 program to an upset limit of $25,000 to assist in funding the Stewart Park Festival in 2025 as presented in Report 2025-CAL-1.4.
Thank you. Any discussion? No, those in favor? Yep. So, it's under staff reports, we appointment of deputy clerk, Councillor Bird.
Thank you. Moved by myself, seconded by Councillor Barry. Can't be here. Councillor Gary Waterfield. Be it resolved that the Council of Town of Perth pass bylaw number 5194, being a bylaw to appoint Tracy Bowles as deputy clerk, as presented in Report 2025, Council 1.1.
Thank you. So those in favor of that, please? Thank you. So we'll go on to council committee, local board, and external board reports and minutes. Before we get to the items listed there, we're all aware that we have a very contentious topic that no doubt most of us get emails on almost on a daily basis, and usually, yes, I answer emails, but sometimes the misinformation in them is so striking. I felt it was necessary to refute some of that information so it could get to a wider range of people. So the first one was that I had gone out and recruited someone or a developer to develop the golf course. And if I was going to do that, then why didn't I pick someone who was not as quite as aggressive as the present developer? No, I did not do that. I didn't try to recruit anyone in terms of development, and I didn't even meet the principals involved until after they had bought the golf course. So there was another comment that council had, this was a done deal. Council had already decided what the outcome was. No, that is not true. The developer took the matter to the Ontario Land Tribunal. They are the ones who will make the final decision. There is a mediation process going on at which both parties are represented, and they will make the decision, not council. There's concern about the floodplain. Floodplain regulations are governed by the Rideau Valley Conservation Authority. They will decide if any development is inappropriate or subject to flooding. It's not a free fall for all. The developer can't do whatever he likes. And the other one was there's two more. One was had anybody on council gone and looked at Fox Run in Richmond to see how it was developed? I know I personally went to sorry?
We did too.
Oh, okay. I
Just we're
wasn't sure why you were putting your hand up. Yeah, so, and I did stop and got out of the car and talked to some people that were sitting outside. And they were actually extremely satisfied with their house and said, it was very enthusiastic. He said, come on, in the backyard, you guys look at the trees that K-Van planted last week. And so the last one is why there were no councillors present at the public meeting. You have to understand the regulations that govern council. Even if it was in an informal situation like that, if there was a majority of councillors there and it could be considered a council meeting. Council speaks as a whole through the mayor. if someone was there from council, was pushed into answering a question, and people might accept that as, okay, that's what council thinks. And that's not the case. It's too tenuous a situation for council. So I will go on. County council. Oh, yes, there was a grant announced just recently. We're all familiar with the CHIP project, the housing project over in Earthworks. It was just announced that we've got a $600,000 grant for that. And we had a speaker at the last meeting. There was a concern on the part of council that Lanark County was kind of getting ignored as far as the provincial or federal government was concerned. And so we had a speaker come in and talk to us about how we might better get some attention from the federal and provincial governments. And one of the main points that was made was that, remember, when you're making a presentation, what you want is not necessarily what they want. So if you're turned down, it's just they're not seeing it the way you do. Hospital board really needs statistics. The average response time, this is for emergency, is 3 hours, which is much less than a lot of surrounding hospitals. And they even have people driving down from Ottawa because the wait time is less. And people come into emergency, they're waiting and waiting, find out there's only one physician on duty, and they say, what's the matter with the hospital? Why don't they, free up more money so we could have 2 physicians? It's regulated by the Ontario government. They only fund 1 position for emergency, so. And yes, the CEO was trying to get an appointment with Claude Brûlé, who's the president of Algonquin College, to talk to him about what the effects would be on the hospital, on healthcare in the community if the Algonquin campus closes. And yes, so council is working on that. And we plan on making representation to the Minister of Colleges and Universities at the Good Roads Convention. And we are sending them a letter outlining all the negative effects on the community. Climate change. Barry is not here, and I missed the last meeting. So OPP, the deputy mayor, is not here. He's on vacation. I should mention that. And Councillor Smith is ill. Councillor Bird,
Thank you.
Heritage Perth Advisory Panel.
Unfortunately, the meeting yesterday, neither Councillor Smith nor myself were available yesterday. One of the ongoing things that is being looked at is the designation of the Crystal Palace, as it doesn't fit into heritage, et cetera, but there are possibilities that are being looked at, either, well, including a designation by the town, and there are the possibilities of a more provincial covered term of building of significance. And I just wanted to keep you involved that that's ongoing. And it's probably, although it's not a heritage building in the sense, it's probably the best panel to be dealing with that is the one that's carrying it right now.
Thank you, sir. Any questions? Going on, the Drew Farm Working Group, have they met recently?
Yes. The Duro Farm Working Group, the Dog Park Group has received a donation of $12,900 from Perth and District Community Foundation. And my understanding, they're getting closer and closer to their $30,000 fundraising campaign. And I believe they're going to be coming up on one of our agendas. And Grant Mahan gave a PowerPoint presentation on land use and history of Duro Farms.
Thank you. Larrick County Climate Action Working Group, that's you also.
I gave the report at the last council meeting. There hasn't been a meeting since.
Thank you. Next few are yours, the BIA.
I wasn't able to attend this meeting, but I was able to gather information in regards to it due to health appointments. Sheldon Giff is the new chair of the BIA, and Brody Berrigan is now officially a BIA member and is going through the orientation in February. There was discussion over our website design and contract, and I think that's pretty well all I have to report in regards to the BIA.
Thank you. And the next is the Chamber of Commerce.
That meeting is tomorrow.
Okay, thank you. The Library Board, Councillor Waterfield.
Madam Mayor, I missed the January meeting of the Library Board as it was being held during my attendance at the Roma Conference last week. On January the 23rd, I attended an executive meeting of the Rideau Valley Conservation Authority in the afternoon, followed by a board meeting in the evening. And I'm pleased to share with council that I've been elected chair of the board for the Conservation Authority for 2025.
Wow.
I'm passionate about the vision and mission of this organization, and I look forward to working with staff and board in the coming year. The Lanark County Traffic Advisory Working Group has not met since our last council meeting.
Thank you. Well, congratulations on being elected chair.
Thank you.
Hmm.
Councillor
May I ask a question?
Bird.
Yeah, it's in relation to the Lanark County Traffic Advisory Working Group. We can have frank discussions here, if I may, through the chair. Has that lost impetus?
I would suggest no. We are meeting regularly,
Okay,
and we're meeting quarterly, so it's not a committee that meets on a monthly basis.
okay, thank you for clarifying that. Thank you.
Excuse me. Whatever the striking committee, possibly by accident, I just want to be on record as saying that I have nothing to report at this time, but just so it's on record.
Yeah, we've got one coming up though.
We have one coming up, correct?
Okay. So, we have Councillor Waterfield.
Be resolved that the
13.4.
Council of the Town of Perth receive the council committee, local boards, and external board reports minutes as presented.
Thank you. Those in favor?
You have a seconder for that, Chair?
Oh, that's a seconder. Tracy
I'll
had her
second
hand
that.
up. No, you can't do that. So, thank you, Councillor Bolt. And one thing I forgot to mention is that a few months ago, it struck me, and anybody that walks down the street in town will realize this, we have an increasing number of people from offshore who have moved to town. So on February the 9th, we're going to have a cultural heritage fair. It will be at Algonquin from 11 till 2. There's food from 9 different restaurants. There will be no cost, and there will be 2 or 3 entertainment groups that will be playing music from their country. It's a good, very interesting. Okay. Questions from the media? All right. We have no closed session. Next meeting is February the 18th. Confirmation of proceedings, Councillor McRae.
Be it resolved that the Council of the Town of Perth passed bylaw number 5195, being a bylaw to confirm the proceedings of the Council of the Town of Perth at its meeting held January the 28th, 2025.
Thank you. Those in favor? Okay. Carried. And adjournment. If you could read that, please, Jim.
I would be happy to. Moved by myself and seconded by Councillor Dave Bird. Be it resolved, the Council of the Town of Perth adjourn the January 28th, 2025 council meeting at exactly 5:49 p.m.
Thank you. I think we may have set the record for shortest council meeting. Those in favor? Pardon?